You step outside early in the morning, coffee in hand, only to find your land completely torn apart. The ground is ripped open, crops are flattened, and water lines are twisted and leaking. For agricultural communities around the world, this nightmare is becoming routine reality as wild boars increasingly invade farmland. Traditional methods like basic fencing, standard hunting practices, and conventional traps have proven ineffective against these remarkably intelligent and powerful creatures, leaving property owners frustrated and searching for answers. However, an innovative approach has emerged from an unexpected source. It's creative, it's bold, and it's showing real results. Could this be the breakthrough needed to address the escalating wild boar crisis? Let's explore this fascinating development. The silent invasion. Across multiple continents, a devastating invasion has been quietly escalating for decades. Wild boars have expanded far beyond their native territories, establishing themselves in ecosystems where they were never meant to exist. These animals possess remarkable strength, exceptional adaptability, and relentless determination. Once they claim an area, they seldom abandon it voluntarily. Instead, their numbers grow exponentially, spreading outward and gradually dominating the surrounding landscape. In South America, this challenge has reached critical proportions. Wild boars were initially introduced generations ago for agricultural purposes and recreational hunting. They were viewed as valuable livestock and potential revenue sources. Unfortunately, many escaped confinement, while others were deliberately released into the wild. Once free, they interbred with domestic swine and rapidly established large, fast-reproducing communities. From that point forward, population control became virtually impossible. Currently, wild boars inhabit nearly every ecological zone throughout the region. They thrive in forests, grasslands, wetlands, agricultural areas, and even arid environments where survival appears challenging. Everywhere they establish themselves, destruction follows. Their considerable weight, powerful snouts, and destructive feeding patterns create widespread damage. They continuously excavate soil searching for roots, insects, and any available food source. Agricultural fields that appeared healthy one day can be completely devastated overnight. For agricultural producers, the damage arrives suddenly and catastrophically. A field inspected in the evening can be entirely destroyed by sunrise. Crops including corn, soybeans, and sugarcane face particular vulnerability. Complete harvests can disappear within days. For small-scale farmers, this often means losing their sole income source. For commercial operations, financial losses can reach staggering amounts. Beyond agricultural damage, wild boars inflict severe harm on natural ecosystems. They uproot native vegetation, destroy young saplings, disturb wildlife habitats, and contaminate water sources. Forest floors become completely churned, preventing native plant regeneration. Seeds critical for ecosystem recovery are consumed or destroyed. Over time, this weakens entire ecological systems and reduces their resilience against additional stressors, including climate change and habitat loss. Wild boars also contribute to climate problems. Their constant soil disruption releases stored carbon into the atmosphere. Across vast territories, this amounts to millions of tons of carbon dioxide emissions annually. This worsens global warming and represents another hidden environmental cost of their presence. Failed solutions and a simple breakthrough. Numerous control methods have been attempted. Electric barriers were installed around properties. Traps were positioned in areas showing boar activity. Professional hunters were contracted. Various scents, sounds, and chemical repellents were deployed to frighten them away. However, most approaches eventually failed. The animals learned rapidly, recognized dangers, modified their behaviors, and returned once threats disappeared. Amid this escalating crisis, one straightforward yet innovative idea emerged from a farmer facing repeated crop destruction. Rather than depending on technology or temporary deterrence, he restructured the physical landscape itself. Around his property, he excavated a deep trench. The barrier measured several feet deep and wide enough to prevent wild boars from leaping across. Excavated soil was piled on the inner side, creating a steep incline. The concept was elegantly simple. A boar attempting to enter would either fall into the trench or retreat. Climbing out on the protected side would be nearly impossible. The approach succeeded. wild boars approached the property, encountered the barrier, and stopped. Some fell in and retreated. Others turned away immediately. The crops within the protected zone remained largely undamaged. Losses decreased dramatically. In certain seasons, the farmer preserved nearly his entire harvest. News traveled quickly. Other farmers visited, observed the system, and began constructing similar barriers around their own properties. Over time, this technique spread across numerous agricultural regions. In some locations, reinforcing mesh was added to strengthen the slopes. While the method required significant effort and planning, it provided something increasingly rare: sustainable protection without constant monitoring. However, this solution wasn't flawless. Excavating trenches required substantial investment, labor, and often heavy equipment. During rainy periods, water accumulated in the trenches, creating breeding grounds for mosquitoes and raising public health concerns. Soil erosion became problematic in certain areas. Regular maintenance proved necessary to prevent trenches from filling over time. Despite these limitations, the trench system became a symbol of agricultural resilience. It demonstrated that simple, well-designed solutions could sometimes outperform sophisticated methods. Still, it remained clear that this alone couldn't solve the broader challenge: intelligence and adaptation. One of the most concerning characteristics of wild boars isn't their physical strength or population numbers, but their exceptional intelligence. These animals rank among the most cognitively advanced mammals in natural environments. They learn quickly, retain memories of past experiences, and adjust behaviors based on effectiveness. This makes population management extraordinarily difficult. Wild boars live in social structures, typically composed of related individuals. This means knowledge spreads rapidly throughout the group. If one boar learns to avoid a specific trap or recognizes danger signals, others quickly follow. Mature boars especially become nearly impossible to capture. Over time, entire social groups learn to survive human removal efforts. Their intelligence also enables adaptation to diverse environments. Wild boars survive extreme heat, harsh winters, drought conditions, and flooding. They locate food sources almost anywhere. When environmental conditions shift, they adapt accordingly. This versatility has allowed them to colonize continents and establish populations in previously unsuitable habitats. Reproduction compounds the challenge significantly. Female wild boars breed frequently and produce large litters. Young boars mature rapidly and can reproduce within months. This accelerated reproductive cycle means populations expand faster than most control programs can manage. Wildlife experts estimate that over half of any population must be removed annually just to prevent growth. Anything less allows rapid population recovery. The path forward: managing wild boar populations requires comprehensive, coordinated strategies combining multiple approaches. Physical barriers, targeted removal programs, and continuous monitoring must work together and be maintained consistently over extended periods. Without sustained pressure, populations rebound quickly. Wild boars have proven themselves remarkably resilient survivors. They exploit vulnerabilities, adapt to threats, and capitalize on human errors. The damage they inflict isn't merely immediate, but creates long-lasting effects impacting land, water systems, wildlife populations, public health, and climate stability. The lesson is unmistakable. This isn't a brief campaign that can be won through partial measures. Only persistent, well-coordinated action can slow their expansion and protect existing resources. Even then, success demands patience, adequate funding, and recognition that restoring ecological balance, once lost, is extraordinarily difficult. What are your thoughts on this growing challenge? Share your perspective in the comments below.